Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Fico and welcome once again to my channel, and I'm sorry that I've been absent again. I did those two E3 videos almost a week ago and I kind of fell ill in the weekend, so I haven't been doing many videos recently, so I'm sorry, I apologize. But this weekend I'll be working on some investigating true gaming videos to get back on to doing that, because I really like doing that. But today I'm going to talk to you guys about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is CD Projekt Red's final, we'll say quote-unquote final game in the Witcher series, and this was a big game coming from last year that was announced. Well, actually it wasn't announced last year, it was presented last year with more details, but I think it was announced the year before then. So this thing has been in the making for a bit. I don't know the exact history, because me and the Witcher games have a bit of a history. First of all, I was playing The Witcher 1, and I couldn't finish Witcher 1 because I have all my files in my other computer, and I have them moved to this computer. I haven't moved them yet. So I either have to start the story from the beginning, which I won't, or then I would have to just move the files over here. But regardless to that, Witcher 2 is a game I haven't played. But I asked my friend Victaru if it was necessary. He gave me like a quick synopsis of both games, but you do not have to play Witcher 1 and 2 to jump into Witcher 3. And it's what I'm doing, and so far I've been a couple of hours into the game. I just left my first main area, and I'm now in Velen, and I am enjoying this game a lot. This is a very fun, immersive, quite addicting game. It's got a sort of a similar familiarity to, it may remind people of Inquisition, but I think this one, I would have to play Inquisition first to tell you for sure if it has a lot more similarities. So I might make another video if I ever finish this game soon, so it might take me a while to finish this game, but I wanted to give you guys my early impressions. I rarely give impressions on video games on this channel, and because I've just spent so much time talking about other things that happen in video games, that I rarely ever talk about video games themselves that I'm playing. So I'm gonna try to see if I can make that adjustment on my channel. So I'm starting with The Witcher 3. Now, it does bear mentioning that on day one, I was having problems with The Witcher 3. There were times where I would have issues just in the training session. I would be in Calmoran with Geralt and Yennefer and Vesemir and the rest of the Witchers and Ciri, which is one of the main protagonists in this game, as it seems. And you are training, and all of a sudden you get to the part where you're going to do combat and it freezes. Then all of a sudden you get through that again and you're learning how to use bombs, then it freezes. Then you finish the tutorial, then it freezes. Then all of a sudden you get visited by the Wild Hunt, and you're immersed into this game now. And you're going through the tutorials, through the menu tutorials, and all of a sudden it freezes again. So I was very, very frustrated at first, but I kept playing. But I figured it has to do something with the high settings. I think it's just the high settings on my computer right now. On the game itself, maybe a couple of patches. Where there have been a couple of patches, I'm gonna have to see if it works turning up the graphics again. So I have them set in high, not on ultra. But I'm gonna try to see. I have them set so far like that just so that I can play the game, but I haven't played with the settings. If it's better now, then you all gotta let me know down in the comments below, because there's no reason why my computer should be having any problems running this game. And it's not running this game badly. Even with the graphics settings set all the way up, it seems like the game just freezes. Not the computer that freezes, just the game that freezes. But that was an early problem. I have no idea whether this is something that this is happening, but I'll continue to experiment with it as I play. So what is the Wild Hunt about? Well, turns out you're not just Geralt of Rivia going out hunting boars and griffins and killing drowners. And actually, the Wild Hunt are a group. I don't know if they're creatures or it's sort of like it personifies itself like a band of armed soldiers, and it seems like cold follows them wherever they go. And you find out about the Wild Hunt really early in the game. Now, your main objective is to find this girl called Cirilla, or Ciri for short. And you're supposed to find Yennefer first, so that she can help you, give you the whereabouts of where she was last seen. So Geralt is in fact looking for her, but it's not because of any just because Geralt cares about her or Yennefer cares about her. It's because the Wild Hunt's after her, and it seems like she has something in her blood that is very important. I don't know what it is yet, but it's something to do with, like, her blood is like elder blood, I think, and it's very important in this game. I have yet to know why that is, but the story has picked up pretty good. I am now in Velen. I'm talking with this dude called the Bloody Baron, and turns out he's actually a lot friendlier than his name gives off. And you're trying to help him find his daughter and his wife, and he'll tell you the whereabouts of Ciri, because Ciri was in his castle. And that's pretty much what you do. You're going on this big, expansive world, and you're basically going from place to place, fulfilling missions and leveling yourself up. Right now I've got a couple of missions that do require me to level up a little bit, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And but basically you are going around fulfilling missions, and how these missions are, they just like, you can go to posts and you get additional missions. You can go and look at the map, and there are these question marks. You could visit these locations, and these locations can reveal different things, like places of power, and which gives you an enhancement on one of your spells for about 30 minutes. You also have bandit camps, monster nests, which you have to put away, hidden treasures, guard treasures. There is a lot to discover in these worlds, and you level up very nicely. I've done a couple of quests, which actually does have me take on specific monsters. You learn about them, you prepare yourself for them. It's really cool. The worlds look rather amazing. I mean, the sheer level of detail, I mean, like with the trees blowing and against the wind, and the sound effects all combined together with you riding your horse Roach through the countryside. You know, the weather effects look really nice. When it rains, it looks really nice. When it's just about to, the sun's going down, everything turns red. It's really immersive, really nice. Another thing that looks really nice are the characters. I mean, Geralt looks good, amazing. Yennefer looks amazing. Vesemir, Ciri. I mean, these are some of the most realistic character models I have seen in all of my life. They've gotten better. It's hard to believe, but yes, even to this day, character models are still getting better, and they look great. I mean, you put the texture quality up high enough, the clothes that they're wearing looks really amazing on them. The face, there's like the details in the face, the wrinkles. I mean, old people look old, young people are young. I mean, there's not just the basic models of like, oh, you just put a few wrinkles here and there. No, actually looks really good. Now, models have been getting better and better, but in The Witcher 3, they look just positively almost alive. I mean, maybe like a few more expressions here and there might have been nice, but you do see them, like the reactions. I mean, they act like people too. Yeah, I mean, it's like so you're seeing these realistic models being quite realistic. So I dig that about this game as well. Now, but what about the gameplay? What about the gameplay? The gameplay, I really like the variety of things that you've got. You know, you could gather your, you could use your Witcher senses and detect things around that'll help you loot. You could get stuff you could do alchemy. You could do smithing, like dismantling, deconstructing, selling stuff. You could break things down, and you could repair things that are withering down. You could put yourself with different weapons. You could put yourself with different armor. Leveling up is pretty neat too, because you have different abilities that you assign, and you can level up a little bit, and then you can assign that ability, and then your ability, you could change your guy to be different. Geralt can be different, like focus him completely on spells, or focus him on alchemy, or a mixture of both. And you could also unlock mutagens that you can assign to Geralt to give you more health or give you another bonus. And you could also now use bombs and crossbows, and bombs and crossbows are really neat. Bombs, you could use those to get rid of monster nests and clearing out waves of enemies. Crossbows are really great when taking out enemies in the air. The Griffin was especially nice to take down with it. It was really cool. I really like using both of those. The abilities, the magic abilities that Geralt can do, those like the Ignis and those other abilities that I don't know their names, they're really useful. Though I do find myself using Igni a lot, but I do use the Trapper spell when I'm going against spirits or specters, because apparently those are very nice to slow them down very good. And but Igni I can power up and make it so that it melts more armor, so that's what I'm currently leveling up. And another thing is, you also get ability points. You don't get ability points every time you level up only. You could also get ability points by discovering things. Like if you go to a place of power, you discover a place of power, you get an ability. And I think that's really cool, because leveling up could take a bit. I'm only level 4, I think, or level 5. And level progression is a bit slow, but I think it's supposed to be that way. But abilities, you get a lot of those from that as well. You can also create oils, you can create different bombs, and these oils, you can lather them onto your blades so you can make it more effective to kill certain kind of enemies. The game kind of sort of helps you. You could gather recipes when you loot, and you can go to and just create those yourselves. You can break down things to create certain things, to mix them all together. Now, combat itself, I am comparing combat against the combat in Witcher 1. I have not played Witcher 2, so I do not know how the combat is comparatively, but the combat in Witcher 3 is very fluid. It is not so static, like you have to keep pushing a button every time so Geralt can perform a different style. You have the group style, and then you have the individual quick style, and you have the strong style. Well, here you could switch between the fast and the strong just with a click of a button. You could shift it and it'll swing harder or faster, and I'm currently powering up the faster swing now, and it has helped a lot. And you can move around, you could do alt. Alt's a weird placement of how do you do the dodgement of the abilities here, so you kind of have to just kind of finger around with it and and do that alt, or map it on my Naga hex so I can, dodge a little easier. But the space is to just perform a roll, and combat has been very fluid because you could also parry them as well. There are certain enemies that will stun you, so you have to kind of be a little careful. There's some of them that are higher levels. Sometimes you could get ganged up, and you have to kind of be careful what you do, which spells you want to use. It's very, very nice. Some people have criticized the combat and it being a bit broken, but I am not finding much problems with the combat. I prefer this combat style over Witcher 1 in my opinion. So and in this game there is so much to do, and there's so much to see, and the fact that I'm now just in my second zone, and it took me a while to get through the first one, and there was so much that I could do, and there's so much that I still think I haven't done yet on that zone. It's gonna be just one of these games that are going to immerse you. It's got this Skyrim feel to it. Yes, it does have to load between one big section and another, but each small section is just gigantic. It's just enormous, and there's so many of these. I feel like I have not even begun to scratch the very top of the surface, the very surface of this game. There are things that you have to keep in mind. Money. You have to try to find ways to make money in this game, because there are certain things that get you money. I think that there are certain parts that only a certain kind of currency are taken, so you want to keep in mind on that. I don't know if that's true or not. You can get overburdened. Geralt is amazingly strong, but he's not the strongest man in the world. So yes, you may not run out of space, but you can in fact run out of kind of just like how much you can get over encumbered, in terms of like you can't run, you can't dodge. You could still ride on Roach pretty fast, because you know Roach is just the man. He's the boss horse. and also with Roach, you could also put him like different I think they're like tokens. Like I still got the griffin head, and apparently that gives Roach some kind of special ability or something like that. I don't know how that works yet. The game is pretty big. The lore is really nice. I'm reading every piece of lore. I told myself I'm going to immerse myself in as much lore that this game has to offer, and I'm reading every book, every scrap of paper, every little thing that I could see that I could read. I'm gonna read it, and but overburdening can be a bit of a problem when you have like 20 books you want to read, and you're trying to find someone to who can buy my books. These books, I've already read them. And the thing is that when you do things with money costs everything. Dismantling costs money, fixing costs money. It's not as easy as repairing everything. Repairing everything really could leave you broke. Not like in other games where you can repair everything and you'd be just fine, you know, like it's just so much gold you don't know what to do with it. Here, you really do need to think about what you want to fix or sell a whole bunch of crap, so you don't have to worry about all the weapons, and it's rather cool. And keeping yourself healthy in this game is also rather important, because if you go out there, it's just, I mean, you could really just meditate for an hour and you'd be completely fine. But you can get overwhelmed, because you could be fighting up to 5, up to 6 enemies at the same time. And even if you're in an open environment, you could find yourself getting pretty hounded down, because some of them can fire crossbows at you from afar. They can hurt you, and they're trying to attack you, and he'll keep attacking you. And when you try to go after him, they'll come after you as well. So it's a balance. But Geralt can loot tons of things like raw meat from wolves and dogs, chicken, ham, a honeycomb. There's a ton of stuff that Geralt can use. A lot more stuff that I found in Witcher 1 to keep Geralt healthy. Which brings me to one of my absolute favorite things of this game, and this is the meditation. The meditation, what you do is you go to a spot and you meditate. You push N in on the keyboard, and then you tell how long do you want Geralt to rest. So after a battle, which I'm like half health or a little bit down in health, you meditate, and Geralt's health is completely back. If you've used bombs, you get them replenished somehow. I think it's with strong alcohol. I don't know how that works yet. But the pain of meditation is bad in Witcher 1. You have to go to a fireplace. You have to go to an inn. You have to go through long stretches where you have to find somewhere. You could be running on low health and hope that you did not run into an enemy on Witcher 1. And there are times where I just had to just run. Just go run, finding and just going there crazy blazing fast, which also reminds me, it's like you could actually dash in this game as well, just holding the shift key. While there, you have to just take out one of your swords and put a different style. That makes you move a little faster in Witcher 1. But anyway, meditation, for now, I haven't seen any limitations of where I'm thinking you can't meditate while there are enemies around, or there are certain places where you can't meditate. But here, meditation is really easy. It's really useful. You can pretty much meditate everywhere as long as they're not enemies, and you do not have to go to an inn. You don't have to find a fireplace. You don't have to save up on timber or tinder. So just like, oh look, there's a little fireplace. Ooh, tinder. There you go. Now I can now I'm fine. Now I can meditate. So this is going on for now, heading to the 20-minute mark, and as you can see, I have so much that I spoke of. I feel like there's more, but the thing is, I am still going through the game, and it'd be a little unfair to me to just keep talking about this game without continuing to give it looking into it. But for now, a lot of people will think it's like, would I have to wait and play 1 and 2? No, you can play this game. I think this game gives you enough context of the characters that you like. For example, Triss is in this game. Triss Marigold, she's in the first game as well. I think she's in the second game. If she's not, then fine, correct me, but I haven't played it. But she's definitely in the first game. And you and Triss, apparently you have to go meet Triss. Well, they tell you who Triss is, and they give you enough information to let you know who this person is. You don't have to go back. It'd be great if you could just have that, oh hey, it's Triss feeling. So if you do want to play the first 2 games just to understand better the characters and Geralt and what's going on in the world, then yes, go ahead. But the 3rd game tells you enough to get you into the game, and I do think you can just jump into it without needing to go and retread those 2 games, because it could take you a while. And Wild Hunt is very good, and it'd be hard for you to just keep not doing it. So I got the Wild Hunt from GOG just to get the additional stuff, including Neverwinter Nights Diamond. So I managed to get a whole lot more just getting it through GOG. Pretty much the first big game that I get that is not through there. And I'm also using GOG Galaxy. I might do a video of my impressions of the GOG Galaxy client. I'm not too overly fond with it, but it's a nice option to have so it can manage your games. But it's all pretty just early on. I'm still testing. It's still in beta. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Those are my impressions on the Wild Hunt for now, my early impressions. Perhaps I'll do another video later down the road when I finish this game. I don't know how long it will take me. My new schedule will only allow me as much time as I can to make videos and such. But anyway, I am really happy with the Wild Hunt. Witcher 3 is very, very fun. It's entertaining. It's kind of gruesome. It's not for kiddies, but it's I think you should definitely give it a shot. And as for computer specs wise, you might need at least a mid-range computer, but running the game on low, I don't know how good it would look, but it doesn't seem like the Wild Hunt is one of those taxing games, but you can crank it to as high as it can. So, but anyway, that's just my opinions. I don't know whether or not you can run this on a low-end computer. Probably would recommend just a mid-range, at least a $600 to $700 dollar computer that you can build with a decent GPU, with a decent CPU. Just look at the minimum requirements, and just if you're going for the minimum, because just remember, you could play the games at minimum if you don't care too much about how they look, which granted, I understand, but the creators want you to get the best out of it. So try to build the best PC that you can afford and go out and play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and experience not having the problems that console people are reporting with The Witcher 3. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. So sorry console guys, sorry. I'm a console guy too, but I haven't turned on my consoles in a while. I still don't have the new one. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed my early impressions video of The Witcher 3. If you guys play The Witcher 3, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Fico, and that was my gaming mind. Peace out, everybody.